Welcome back to another episode of Herbet Unfiltered. I am Saravanan.
And my name is Amir.
Thank you for tuning into this episode again, which, as we promised earlier, we're trying to keep consistency in our upload schedules. So, hope you're doing that.
Yeah, Instagram has made it known that we have been consistent. So, alright.
Yeah, slightly off topic from today, but then I think it's fairly evident that if you stop posting a while and you post back again, everything tanks.
Yes.
And it needs to know that you are consistent again. Then it rewards you after a few weeks.
Yeah.
So consistency in everything is what you need in social media. Habis cerita. Alright, so in today's topic, we're talking about something called EGCs as the future of content, creators, the creator space lah, as you can say. So, in today's episode, we are talking about EGC. EGC as the future of generated content. I think it's an opposing to user-generated content, right?
Yeah.
So, can you explain a little bit first? What is user-generated content?
Keep that in.
User-generated content versus employee-generated content.
Boleh. So, UGC is just user-generated content, which means a content that you do yourself, meaning it doesn't need to be like high production value. And for a while, it revolutionized marketing, and everyone wants UGC now. And now, as a result, it becomes so mainstream that the effect that it used to give has become like fake also, similar to influencer. So I think employee-generated content is a response where you as a viewer and as the brand, they both have to acknowledge, okay, at the end of the day, we still need to sell you something, and we still need to like communicate with you, and hence why they let me in the middle. So the brand still gets to be authentic through a mascot, but everything is clear cut from the beginning. And as the audience, they don't have to exhaust the what do you call it? When you watch the content, you kind of like pick up small things. Ni mesti I need doubts. Yeah, sorry, doubts. So the viewer, they don't have to like doubt this content because like okay lah, it is what it is. For instance, this Papa John one I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
In context, maybe you can explain better about Papa John, because back behind the scenes when we were discussing about this topic, Amir brought up Papa John's a lot. So it is really an interesting example.
Yeah.
I think but you only have one employee.
Yeah,
doing it.
They only use like one face, and this employee is just like recording himself making pizza in front of the camera, and he just talks about at first he talks about Papa John lah, why our pizzas are better, spin stuff around, and then over time he started to talk about himself, why he's doing what he's doing, he's just saving money and stuff like that. So it really attaches that underdog feeling to the brand.
Right.
I mean, they could still go the UGC route, but people can already pick it up like, hey, you're being paid to do this. So whereas this guy, yeah, he's being paid, but it's kind of like not hiding anything.
Right. So moving on. Sorry, I'm supposed to respond to you.
Yeah, and from the business side also can. Yeah, I think I can see why it makes sense financially, from a logistic point of view as well, because.
Right. So this has been practiced by a couple of brands already. Like even in Malaysia, I think there is brands like Thomas, who has been using this approach. But it's not just one user; it's like a bunch of them. Bunch of employees.
Yeah.
So generally, how I see happening in the local scene as well, they tend to employ full-time creators in-house. So is there a difference between the full-time creator in-house versus employee-generated content? I mean, it's like say if you have, if it's a sizable company, say you have 100 employees, but you still hire a creator to do it. Is that the way to go, or you can just actually tap into the employees itself?
I mean, of course, if you can get like an external creator I mean, yeah, always nice lah, but not nice for your budget, right?
Right.
So even the people who started charging for UGC content are essentially influencers, right?
Right.
Charging method, same price eventually.
So it's basically bogging down one content creator into your business and then organically creating it. So they know that this person is employed and also acting as a face of the brand or something like that, right? As another example, I think we should pull out is called, I saw it today morning. I'm not sure if I got the name right. It's Nasi Lemak Panjang or something.
Panjang.
Where there was this girl who is very popular on TikTok, which is she does this kind of like skits, like even like somebody, I don't know if it's a real mother or not, I haven't digged into it, but her mother will come and be like, oh, you want to like trying to be pikat, how you say, like
Flirting.
is it, or you flirt with my daughter, is it?
Uh-huh.
How you think you're so great that you can do this to my daughter? Oh, tell me who you are. And then the mother is like taking over the content and she's standing behind and like, yeah, you all, yeah. So it was kind of cute. And then apparently I was trying to see the latest one. It was not her. Somebody they replaced with another employee. But people in the comments were calling out like, oh, bring back this girl. I'm not sure if I got her name right. I think it's called Shafika or Shafi or something like that. Bring back this, bring back this girl, bring back this girl, bring back this girl. So people, one people comment like, you ingat ini TV3 drama ke nak bring back it? Bring back content, so people can get attached to these kind of content creators that in the brand, and it works. So whether the Nasi Lemak is known for its Nasi Lemak, it's actually known for the creator who is behind the scenes there. So that is also another way, a nice way to see that how the brands are handling it. So probably they have like, she left the job or something like that. So now replacing it with another person. And it was equally not too bad, because even if they replace the person, I got to see it from the new person's perspective. I only knew that people were asking, where's the old girl, when I was reading the comments about it. So I think you can replace the creator or the employee. It doesn't matter. It does take some time for people to get used to. So if anybody has a fear of like, oh, what if my brand is only being shown one person, and what if that person leaves, then the whole brand goes. But it's the same like employing UGCs. Like, if the UGCs, you pay them the money that you get the content in, and if they're gone, they're gone. And right, same thing, you're relying on external people. But rather than now relying on external forces, you have somebody who is with you for some time, so you can build much better momentums for your brand. Everything will be replaced.
More control over the message.
Exactly. So everything will be replaced one day. So if you have the fear like, oh, your employee is going to steal the limelight, then don't even do content in the first place. It is going to bound to happen. So you have to deal with it, and you can just change when it's necessary, and people will adapt. As long as they know, hey, this brand is known to do this. So the next guy, who's the next guy? So I don't think it's if there's a fear in business side of people thinking why you should use employees and not UGCs. I think the plus sides of the UGC is really, really good, right?
There is like one more benefit, because okay, when you hire like UGC, or when you do UGC with KOL or any kind of ambassador, people would just credit like things to that person. But when let's say like in a company hires like internal staff doing weird stuff or doing more relaxed stuff, there's always this sentiment like, oh, okay, actually the brand, whoever the management is chill enough to let the staff do this.
Right.
So you still get that brand
effect,
on that look perception to your brand, which is, I think, still fair, still okay, right?
Yeah, I think then it communicates that the culture of the brand is like that, right? What you create is representing the culture. Like maybe off topic a bit, but like what's happening with Jaguar at the moment. People really don't know what's going on, right? But whether you like it or not, but whether you like it or not, it's talk of the town. I think they've done the part of like a brand that has been forgotten, and suddenly it's like everybody's talking about it. Sorry, everybody's talking about it. So I think that shows the culture, or like, who is this, this kind of stuff. Because otherwise, then big brands become stale. Everybody can really see nowadays when you just use user generated content. You're paying for this, and there's no how to say, relatability anymore. Like this guy, I saw him eating in the shop. I saw him eating in the shop. I saw him in every shop you are there. Or I saw you using this product before. I saw you using that product before. Like you keep you can call out like, hey, these guys are influencers.
Yeah.
They just do this for a living. So there's no more like actual real users to like get user generated content anymore. Like everybody's doing it for the money.
Yeah.
I know he's gonna do it for free anymore. That's how it is, right? The old days where we can really tell, our customers, you can create content from our customers as user. That's your UGC or customer content. Testimonial content to a certain extent, yes, you can work a bit. But if you're expecting them to do like some review and all those things, often you're not going to use the real customers, which is actually the main thing that you should be doing. But this UGC term has become like, okay, do you have a following? Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have the XYZ criteria for you to fulfill to my brand? And then only we approach you. But instead, if you actually really want to do UGC, just go out to your customers, can be a regular Joes, and just record them, offer them to do the content, and maybe give them a discount onto your products. They have become lifelong users of the products, instead of like finding for these users that are how would I say, users chipla. Like they're not real users. They're just like planted, like they're planted into the whole system. What's your thoughts on that? Like I would like still user generated content to be used, but it's like real customers versus customers who are fake.
I mean, okay, generally, if I know that the review is being paid for, then what's the point watching this? But say that I'm watching a paid review by a trusted person, then I don't mind. So for instance, maybe a certain reviewer, I like his style of being really detailed. Then fine, okay lah. This, although you're being paid to say that this is good product, but I know what I'm gonna get. I know you're not just gonna cover it in a generic way.
Right.
You're gonna be a bit more honest. Some reviewers are a bit honest, like, yeah, I mean, to be fair, the battery life is not that good, but at least you get this per. I don't mind that. But like I really don't like the reviews where they pretend, oh, this is why you shouldn't buy, and then end up it's all the good things.
Yeah, and I mean, it's obvious that if your business is producing the content to like even go and shoot the customers, you only want them to talk about the good stuff.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell them like, okay, actually your battery life is not so good,
Yeah.
or actually your this XYZ is not so good. So you will definitely hide that facts when you're posting it in your feed.
Yeah.
Your management will never agree and say like, hey, you're not allowed to dish our own products in our own content. But actually, I mean, nobody's got the guts to do that lah. But if you do that, you'll be like, hey, okay, you acknowledge your own.
It's not gonna be about like just hiding our flaws. It's now macam, if you wanna hire these people, hire the ones who can communicate the best with the audience.
Right.
Cause if you trust that I mean, this goes back to that UGC or EGC. If you trust that person, then you don't mind. I mean, I would like to touch on it in terms of talent management also. Like when we're doing with like UGCs or this external talent in general, planning content can be quite difficult because everyone has to be available. Maybe this person has personal issue and then have to pull out at the last minute, and we have to figure out a replacement. Compared to employer generated content, everyone is already there working hours.
Yeah.
And they already know the company culture, the product, stuff like that. And payroll also, you don't have to worry because it's already covered by the client.
It is true. I think you have to look at employees as like founders. If the founders doesn't want to do content, or you want people to do content with yourself. Like say, I'm a founder, I do my own content, but I also you guys are doing content with me, and we're doing it as content like as a team. So founder plus founder and friends or founder and employees. If you have that kind of combo of content, perfect.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody external to create content. It is what people want to see, what's really happening behind the company, how joyful they are, how chill they are, or maybe how serious they are in extremes.
No, it's the commitment to people can see it.
Exactly. Like some companies are like, the founders were like, no, you got to finish this deadline, the hardcore guys. But some are like really chill. You can see the likes of like Tony Fernandez, for example.
Yeah.
Great personal brand, but it covers the whole spectrum of his employees and different hierarchy. Some from like guys picking up the bags to right up to the CEOs and stuff like that. So there are various people joining to the content, but at the same time, they independently also the brand is doing content with the staff, a lot of it. So I think that's what people want to see, like in this perceiving thought that this brand is chill.
Asia is more fun than us.
Technically. All right. So now, in terms of management point of view, how do you manage these contracts, right? How do you manage employees' expectations on creating content? So I think simple advice is from day one, employing, you have a chat with them and you have it in the contract as well. Like you are part of the content creation process. Are you okay with it? Yes, I'm okay with it. Check. So then you get hired for that. So you don't want any surprises like, oh, I didn't want to do this and stuff like that. So when you get the first 10, right before when you hire or when you sign a contract, it'll be clear like, hey, you got to do content as well. You're okay with it? Join it. So you clear that doubts. The second, also intellectual property. So like the other case, when this girl moved to, sorry, I'm backtracking to the Nasi Lemak Panjang people. I'm not sure if that's the name, sorry.
Panjang isn't long.
I think so, it's Nasi Lemak Panjang.
Okay.
So the Nasi Lemak Panjang story, where I saw a lot of the audience comments are asking for the old employee, right? So if there was a very loose contract or understanding, a competitor could just hire this girl and overnight get the hits, right?
Yeah.
So let's say Nasi Lemak Bumbong or Nasi Lemak Burung Hantu decides like, okay, this girl has been fired, let's pay her double the amount and let's take her and then let's do the same piece of content. And now we get famous. It's possible. Very much possible. So that is the fear of most business owners. Like, okay, if this happens, how do I mitigate the situation? So in your clauses, I think it's safe to say you should have competitor restrictions. That means you should not be employed. You cannot go to another employee. Another employer.
Another competitor, yeah.
You cannot go to another competitor
For a year or two.
Yeah, for a year or two. I think a year or two is fine. Then that heat or the attachment to the brands will be there. So I think it's fine. But I think they're free to join any other non-competitive environments. Then it shouldn't be a problem. But that's a very good example because I saw that like everybody's asking for this person again. So how do you mitigate as a business owner? How do you mitigate this situation?
Yeah.
You may have 101 reasons why you let her go or why she left. That's business issues. But now it's affecting the brand. So this person has become too attached to the brand. Now it's difficult for them to detach. But they are pushing forward by just replacing and saying, hey, no, we can still go straight hit. So now the biggest problem is a lot of comparisons going on between the old girl and the new girl. So the new girl has to step up one step extra to to do everything better because then you get called off everything. Oh, she was better.
Betul. Even the that signage guy yang what's up homie Stanley?
Yeah.
I remember like last year they tried to replace him. Maybe he naik pangkat or something, but they tried with a girl and then a black guy, and but only for a month, less than a month.
That people forget.
People were complaining, hey, bring back Tony.
Tony.
And then now Tony is back, bring more accents. So I think if you want to have a new person, if you don't do it as good or better, then just change your concept.
Change the concept. Or
Tony has owned the new.
I think then you have to really dictate. You must have an approach where you let everybody participate. The same goes to the Papa John's guy. What if he leaves? What if he leaves will be the biggest question mark for Papa John's, right?
Yeah.
So we have not attached ourselves to this guy. how do we detach, and then what's the next step. So they know the format works. They can probably introduce other characters into the format, or pay this guy a lot and keep him around just for the brand sake. But then again, then defeats the purpose of employee generated content.
Yeah.
You have any thoughts about of this attachment and detachment? How do you handle this?
I mean, yeah, I guess if there has to be levels to it. So if you're doing very low stakes content, then the rapidly changing method, no problem. But if you're like that signage business where they're just selling one funnel, and then it's just a buying something like that. So simple goods. So macam not a lot of funnel involved. Then yeah, eventually you're gonna have to expect, wait, this guy is gonna become the face, and so if I had time machine, maybe I would, when I was releasing these videos, it's not just Tony, just use more stuff so you can water down the.
I think that aspect, Thomas was really doing it really well.
Yes, they use a group
of guys, right? Rather than having one face, they are like, let's have a bunch of creators like come in and do stuff.
Yeah.
So the perception is like the attention is not on one person.
Correct.
So I think same thing with Nasi Lemak Panjang. I guess it's budget as well lah, and also the availability of staff. So if imagine the entire staff, like maybe the guy who's making the roti canai, has his own way of like doing a skit kind of thing, like or maybe he's the grumpy roti canai guy, and then you have this girl that everybody likes to flirt with, and then you have this very serious cashier or something like that, or maybe then you have a funny waiter. So you have like this combo mix of content creators together creating content. Then the attention is like you're making your own mini drama in your shop, right? So that way, then I think you can mitigate going into these scenarios. Like you can change, people come and go kind of situation. But when you attach one person alone, then maybe people get too attached to that person. It's going to take a lot of time. It's like players and clubs.
Yeah.
Like when Cristiano Ronaldo left Manchester United, a lot of people were upset. And this is when he came back again. A lot of people were upset. His fans, they criticize the managers. The managers don't know how to handle him, yada yada and all that. So people come and go to the club. Okay? So, but you always have the fans of that particular player and stuff like that. But the club goes on. The club moves on. It needs to have new players. You cannot retain the same set of players. After a certain while, generally you'll have to change. So I think you have to look at marketing that way as well. The marketing team has to change all the time.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
content creators always have to change all the time. You're going to have that period of when the change happens, you're going to have that definitely the drop. Even if maybe with the team or without the team, you never know. You may have the setbacks, but you just have to deal with it and move on. It's a much better choice than using UGCs, which is going to cost you more.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
the other plus side is cost. So did we talk about cost?
They vaguely mentioned it, like.
Right. So if you look at cost, it's definitely cheaper for the brands. And not only we covered all the other points, authenticity and all those things, right? But cost is actually a big thing. If you're going to keep on like hiring influencers and third parties to come and create content for you, by having people as employees and content creators, you're not exploiting. You're just getting the most out of.
Yeah. I agree, because when you hire UGC or KOL, you cannot simply tweak the script without damaging the brand.
Yes.
So when you do EGC, you can have full creative control. But that's what each brand wants. So
Sure. And I mean, and also you can bring back about if they're comfortable about it lah. You don't have to use employees who are not comfortable about it. Employees are comfortable. Okay, why not? I want to join. Let's do this. Okay, and then create a fun culture. So don't go and do things that also the employees don't like lah. Of course, you have to create something that everybody's comfortable with. But generally, I think in today's age, it's pretty much acceptable at content creation. So, and everybody is like, has a TikTok account or doing some sort of content creation in some ways. So as long it gels with their personality, they'll be good to do it. That's my 2 cents about employees in this. Now, wrapping this up, any final thoughts about this topic?
I think like UGC, this will also come to pass in another 3-5 years. Who knows, maybe you'll go back to UGC. But currently, yeah, UGC macam basi biar. Yes, I would consider them influencer already. No such thing as UGC anymore.
Right. Yeah, I think, it's there's a huge overlap between influencers and UGC.
Yeah.
Having
Even the interviews yang tepi jalan pun macam scripted.
yes, tell me about it.
Yeah.
It's become so. You can just call out like, hey, what are you doing here? And you just paid me to do this content, right? So I think there's also an acceptance level to it. So they're doing it also because there are people who accept it.
They like if the writing is good, funny, okay, fine lah. But okay, I mean usually this interview content also they're not selling anything, so you can get away with it. This is entertainment.
Right. I think another aspect is to also look about reach.
Mm.
Now, 2 scenarios. Employees content you generate in the company, you can run ads. You can do whatever you want. You have full control.
Yes.
And you can get the same amount of reach. Now, if you look at influencers also having issues where not every content wins. I've seen a few influencers where, when they do entertaining content and stuff like that, some of it get like millions of views. And then in super contrast, we have one that only gets like 1,000 or 2,000 views. So 1 million where 1,000 where. So if you suddenly had a joint venture with this person and then you be that end of the spectrum of this 1,000 and you're going to be upset like, oh, what is this? I pay so much money. So that guy is going to argue like, no, my standard is this much, you pay me, this is XYZ. I can't go down in that. This is algorithms punya pasal. Your product is not good. I'm sorry. So then you will get into all sorts of disputes. So if you are a smaller brand, not willing to spend that money to test on influencers, then yes, you can try this approach, which will be much, much more cost effective. And shout out to influencers. I mean, you guys are doing a good job. Not saying that you're not doing a good job, but I think there is options today. And therefore, also for influencers, and maybe be careful the way you create content. Don't let it be just very salesy all the time. Have some policies. Of course, yes, that's going to come with a lot of negativity from the business side, where they I feel like, hey, you shouldn't tell my flaws. I'm paying you to tell the content, but I think you should also now step up and be at the likes of like MKBHD and stuff like that, where they still work with Apple, but they get to call out them now and then when they are not happy.
Yeah.
But they still get invited to the. I think it's gone the days. I think those days Apple pun macam, oh, if you talk bad about me, remember the Engadget or Gizmodo days, where they had the iPhone leaks and all those things, and then they banned them from coming to the press conference and stuff like that. But today's age,
They use it, right?
no chance. They're using the whatever that's leaked and all of a sudden using it to their advantage. So times have changed, so we got to adapt.
Yep.
That is the final message here. All right, so that's a wrap for today's episode, and thank you for tuning in. And we hope to see you in the next episode of Herbet Unfiltered. It's me, Saravanan, signing off.
I'm Amir.